Hi guys, it's really great to have you join me on my channel today. I've been accepted into the Educational Psychology Doctorate program and I'll be starting in September. So the reason why I started this channel is because when I was trying to find out more information around the experience of training as an educational psychologist, I found it quite difficult to find any information about the process and what the journey actually entails. I've spoken to some people who have already qualified, but I think it's still different from actually seeing what it's really like through the process. And hopefully by documenting my journey, it would be helpful to some people who are interested to help them see whether or not this is a journey for them. And also for myself to reflect back and see how much I've grown and improved myself. So it's a time of the year again where we all start to gather our thoughts around all the work experiences that we have in order to apply for the Educational Psychology Doctorate. So I think the first topic that I'd like to talk about is how to write your personal statement. I'm going to share with you my personal journey on how I actually went about writing it. There were definitely times where I actually felt really nervous, thought about, whether or not I was cut out for this, whether or not I will make it. And these thoughts would surely come in, but at the same time, if it's really what you wanted to do, then you should still press on and find ways to get to it. I'll be sharing with you 10 things that I did to finally submit my personal statement. Before I actually sat down to write my personal statement, I did 3 things, and these 3 things that you do would actually also help you if you move on into the interview stage. So the first thing that I did would be pretty straightforward, which is to thoroughly read through the entire course websites to find out what sort of modules they offer, what topics or what subjects that is their niche. So for example, some university might teach you cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, another university may or may not do that as well. So it's good for you to have a look at the website and read through if that is something that you want to learn, therefore choosing that university to apply to. That will really help you to tailor your personal statement to be in line with what the course is going to teach, and also you'll be able to show them why you've chosen that school. So the second thing that I did was to try and talk to people who are currently in the course that I'm interested in, or also those who may have already graduated, to find out a bit more about the course. The other thing that I do is also try and talk to other EPs who are already working in the field to find out what it's like in terms of being an EP after graduating. The third thing that I did was to collect assistant educational psychologist or even educational psychologist job descriptions to have a reference and see what future jobs I'm actually looking at, and that gave me a good framework to work with in terms of the qualities that they are looking for in an educational psychologist. So now that I feel ready to sit down and write my personal statement, I'm going to share with you the next 7 steps that I used to write a personal statement that I was happy to submit. The introduction is really important because it determines whether or not the reader continues reading the rest of your personal statement. So you might want to start with a punchy introduction, or where you state why you're the best candidate that they should choose. You may also want to talk about why educational psychology and why you're a suitable candidate for that, and maybe why you choose that school that you're applying to. So the next point is to use keywords that are familiar in the field. So the admissions team are people already in the field, so you can probably use well-known acronyms such as CBT for cognitive behavioral therapy in order to save the number of words. You might want to bring in what type of models that inform your practice and be specific about the models that you are using. So in the body of your personal statement, you might want to think about the different levels that educational psychologists work in, and also pull together your experience of these different levels. So some of the levels you might think about is what experience you have in terms of working directly with a young person, what experience you have in terms of working with a network around a child. You might also think about multidisciplinary teams, and you might also think about interagency work. You might also want to think about what you've done when you're working alone. So these different levels are what the educational psychologists tend to do in their day-to-day work. The next one is a really important section where we think about how you reflect on your work and how you learn from your experiences, how you will reflect, when you will reflect, what incidences would you reflect on, are there any cultural diversity issues or awareness that might be part of that as well. How did you grow and develop as a person? What did you do better? And also, what can you do better in future? In the doctorate, research is a large part of it. It would be helpful to think a little bit about how you were involved in research, what sort of research you've done that's related to this field, and how you had implemented your research findings into your work. If you've not done any formal research, you might still be able to think about something that you've searched on and how you've impacted your area of work in your current jobs or your previous experiences. You might want to wrap up about why you're the best candidate. You might want to talk about what can you bring to the course, maybe how do you manage self-care, and also what kind of qualities do you actually have that they might want to see in an EP that you can bring. Lastly, as awkward as it might be, you really want to get a few trusted people to read your personal statement so that they can help you to pinpoint certain parts that you can refine and how you can improve on certain points. And that is really important because actually I've learned a lot, and also the feedback from them was really invaluable that you can't really get anywhere else because that is unique and personal to your statement. I hope these 10 tips were really useful to you. Please like and subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram at Getting Psyched for You, where you can also interact with me and send me messages too. If you also have any other topics you'd like me to cover, please feel free to comment. I hope that you'll like to follow my journey as a trainee educational psychologist. For now, it's goodbye and see you next time.